since I grew up in Chicago, I knew most of the senior rabbis from camp and from just growing up around and being involved in youth group and stuff like that. And so there was an assistantship open. I called up the senior rabbi and said, tell me a little bit more about the position. I'm interested. And he said, well, we're really looking for somebody to do kind of outreach to the yuppies in this community, this urban neighborhood. So we'd really need somebody to live right here and, you know, kind of open their home. And I said, well, that sounds really intriguing. He said, but, you know, you live out in the south suburbs. It wouldn't work. I said, well, if the job is right, and if we decide that we want to do that, we could move into the city and my husband would commute. And he said, look at the snow outside. You would have such a cranky husband. I said, nevertheless, I would like to be considered for the position. Then I got a letter back, and there were evidently two factions in the congregation, and one of them was looking for this outreach to the yuppies, and another was looking for someone with more experience and kind of a more senior associate. So they wrote back and said they were looking for someone with more experience. So I had been out 5 years at that point, but I had been working part-time and in different kinds of things. So I figured, okay, they're going to take somebody from the field. A couple of months later, I hear that they're interviewing the seniors at HUC. And I got angry. So I called up Rabbi X and said, I don't think I'm being treated fairly. And he said, well, you know, we really need somebody to be doing this and this and that. I said, you don't know anything about me. I said, all you have is that one sheet of paper that you got from the placement office. You don't know about the management experience I have before I went to rabbinical school. You don't know about this. You don't know. And you'll never know because you didn't interview me. Now, this was on a Wednesday night. Thursday morning, I get a phone call from him saying, we've arranged an interview. We've scheduled an interview with you on Saturday after services. Completely inappropriate. And, well, it was CYA. I mean, I think they were afraid that I was going to sue them. But the interview was also kind of surreal. Somebody said, we noticed that you're a woman. How do you think that that will affect, you know, how you are as a rabbi? I mean, you know, this is 1984. This was not, you know, 1924. Someone actually asked me, are you going to have any more children? Now, I could not say, that's an illegal question, you idiot, you know, because they would say, oh, what a bitch, you know. So I simply said, I don't have any plans. And finally somebody, and the whole thing was just kind of bizarre. Finally somebody says, what kind of compensation would you require? Now, you never ask money in a first interview. It's simply not done. So I smiled sweetly and said, I'd rather not discuss money on Shabbos. I said, if we decide that we want to work together, I'm flexible and so are you, and I'm sure we can come up with an appropriate amount. Well, needless to say, that Saturday, the reason they scheduled this at such a bizarre time was that Saturday night was callbacks for the HUC students. And they hired someone right out of the college who had the correct genitalia, who was the same height as the senior rabbi, and I was considerably taller. End of story.